Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a little bit of a look at an Arcanine EX Special Illustration Rare. And this is weird, and unusual, and unexpected, because Arcanine EX doesn't have a Special Illustration Rare. Or I suppose a more accurate way to put it would be, outside of China, Arcanine EX doesn't have a Special Illustration Rare. Or maybe, until now, Arcanine EX didn't have a Special Illustration Rare. And make no mistake about it, this is a very big deal, because it's a brand new card that frankly shouldn't exist. This shouldn't be a thing. Now, essentially what happened was that over in mainland China, they are gearing up for the release of Scarlet and Violet. They haven't had Scarlet and Violet yet, but remember, China is catching up very, very quickly, and they are racing towards the release of their Scarlet and Violet, and it's going to have Arcanine on the booster pack, and it is going to be released on the 16th of May, which firstly, great song by the band Lagwagon. Secondly, there's a bunch of stuff coming out on the 16th of May. It's shaping up to be a very busy day for TCGs generally. But the point here is they're giving us a Special Illustration Rare that other countries didn't have. When this was released over in Japan, there was not a Special Illustration Rare Arcanine. When it was released over here, there was not a Special Illustration Rare Arcanine. This is a brand new card that China's getting that we never got before. And it's not like this has never happened before. We've had precedents for this in the past. Like, for instance, the Mew from 151. Now, this was actually a very limited promo card, which is going to be a pain to get hold of, just to put it a little bit bluntly. But it is out there, and it is coming. And there's a 151 Mew over in China that we just didn't get. That's a China thing, not an anywhere else thing. Brand new card. And of course, as well as getting the Mew, there were just a bunch of Kato Pikachu cards, which were also released in 151 that again, never made their way out outside of China. Because China's catching up. And that's one of the important things about when we talk about these new cards in China. When we talk about a new card in Japan, we go, well, we'll probably get it at some point. We don't know how. But, take Hop's Pincurchin, for instance. That was a league promo that came out a couple months ago with Battle Partners. We don't have that card yet. That is not a card that exists in English. We have no idea how we're getting it, but we know we're going to get it at some point because we always get these league promos. It's a thing. So we see this card coming out in Japan, and we're like, we don't know what that is. We've never seen it before, but Japan's ahead of us. We'll get it later. That's not the case with China. Over in China, they're getting stuff a lot later than us. We got Scarlet and Violet base like 2 years ago. Came out in March 2023. So it's not like we can go, oh, well, we'll get that in a minute when we get these cards. No! That's not happening. China got this card, or I suppose China is getting this card next month. We aren't getting it. Take, for instance, the Rainbow Rare versions of Blastoise and Venusaur VMAX. Now, remember, we got them as promos over here, as did Japan, for what it's worth. But, yeah. Anyone remember when that got released in English? No, because it didn't. Japan never got them, we never got them. They were released as Chinese exclusives, but they never made their way out over here. And they probably never will. Look at the Mew 151 or the Pikachu from 151 that China have got. I can't say for absolute certain we'll never get them. I have no idea. But I don't see why we would. We don't have any upcoming products where these would make sense. It just doesn't make sense to get these. So the overwhelming likelihood is that we never get those 151 cards that China's been getting lately. So what about this Arcanine? Now, there's two schools of thought when it comes to this Arcanine. There are essentially two possibilities. Possibility number one, this is a one-off. Because the booster pack artwork is Arcanine. So it very well may be that China went, look, Arcanine's on the booster pack. We need a special card. Let's make this Arcanine. It is absolutely possible that China's making this as a one-off. It's the only card in the set. And that's it. That we're done after that. Absolutely possible. It is also absolutely possible that they go, well, there's no point just doing one, really, is there? Maybe we should keep rolling. Because also, remember in Scarlet and Violet base, there were in fact 2 Terra EXs. There was Arcanine, but there was also Gyarados. Could we see a Gyarados? We saw that, obviously, we know China's catching up. They're going faster than we are. So, for instance, Forretress that we got in Paldea Evolved has been confirmed to be coming in this new set in China. So maybe they end up doing Forretress as well. Maybe there's a party. Maybe they do a bunch of them. Again, we don't know. They showed off one in the trailer. But let's not all go pretending that this guarantees we're only ever going to get one. There is every possibility that China goes and gets more. Because if we go back to the early Scarlet and Violet days, there really wasn't very much in terms of secret rares, not like there is now. Like, again, go to Scarlet and Violet base. If we take Arcanine as an example, well, we got the regular Arcanine. And we got Full Art Arcanine, which, to be fair, looked very cool. But that was it. There were some special illustration rares in the set. You know, we had Koraidon and Miraidon, for instance. They had special illustration rares. And then, like, Great Tuscanine and Treads had special illustration rares. And then Spidops, for some reason, had one as well. But my point is the Terra Pokemon didn't get special illustration rares in Scarlet and Violet base. And we can move forward to Paldea Evolved, and the Terra Pokemon didn't get special illustration rares. The Terra Pokemon in that set, we had the aforementioned Forretress, and then we had Slowking and Dedenne, but none of those 3 got a special illustration rare. That was a main set and a mini set in Japan, and essentially every set in Japan back then had 1 Terra EX, and the Terra EXs didn't get special illustration rares. We had a bunch like Skeleturge and Ting Lu I particularly liked from Paldea Evolved, but the Terra Pokemon didn't get special illustration rares. It was only when we got to Obsidian Flames and Terra Charizard got the special illustration rare, that was a big deal back then. Because that was the first time we'd had a special illustration rare of a Terra Pokemon EX. Well, China's having a look at this and going, nah, mate, we aren't waiting that long. And again, we don't know what the parameters are here. We don't know what the limits are. Maybe it is a one-off Arcanine just because they've gone, look, we're clearly not doing Koraidon and Miraidon yet. They'll come later. We've put Arcanine as the poster child of this pack, but we can't have the poster child of the pack not having a special illustration rare. That really doesn't make much sense. So for that reason, we're just going to do this as a one-off and let's get rolling. That is absolutely possible. But we also need to acknowledge that there's nothing to stop Pokemon in China turning around and going, nah, you know what, mate? We can do better. We can do more. We can keep going with these. We can do Gyarados. I don't know where we're coming down here, but the point is China have very much opened the floodgates here. They have opened themselves up to being able to do this stuff. The Mew in 151 going right back to the Blastoise and the Venusaur, the Rainbow Rares that they had a while back now, several sets ago. China have basically laid it down that they are willing to do new cards that we never got in Japan or the West or anywhere else. And they seem to just be accelerating it at this point. This is the weirdest one for me so far. The Mew, yes, that was a bit weird, but that was a very limited promo card that was given out in a special way. So I look at that and I go, well, you know what? Yes, it is a brand new, never before seen Mew, all of that. But actually, it's a very limited promo card, so I get it. But this is just in a pack, and that's one of the things that strikes me as so gosh darn weird. But I've told you how weird it all is now. So now it's over to you guys. Do you want China to do more of these? Do you think we need to find a way to get these over here? How jealous are you? Let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.